two. How are we doing, family? It's your boy, Yo, and this is another episode of the Ballpark Show. I go through every MLB game every day and try and narrow it down to the plays that I personally see the most value in. Today's Tuesday, June 2nd, and I have 3 of my best bets in today's video. I do this every day for free, so please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and let me know your favorite game in the comment section below. Without further ado, let me get into today's games. Recap yesterday. Definitely not my best. I went 0-2-1 on my 3 best bets. Obviously hate to start the month with a losing day, but I felt like yesterday's card was tricky overall, so I'm not beating myself up too much. The Giants and Brewers under was probably the sickest play for me, just because of how quickly it went over. Then the Rangers beat the Cardinals by 1 run, so that ended up being a push. 0-2-1 to start June. Looks like I've got my work cut out for me once again, but that's no problem. 3 plays today. Let's see if we could get right on this beautiful Tuesday. In our first matchup of the evening, we have the Toronto Blue Jays in Atlanta taking on Atlanta Braves. Braves are minus 133 on the money line, and the total is 8 runs. On the mound, we have Kevin Gausman going for Toronto. We have Bryce Elder going for Atlanta. Elder had a fantastic start to the season, but he's been getting hit in his last few games. 9 hits and 5 earned runs against the Red Sox in just 3 innings in his last outing, and he's given up 21 hits in his last 3 starts. He's a career 4.3 ERA guy, so I personally see him continuing to regress. On the other side, Gausman's coming off of 3 great outings against the Marlins, Pirates, and Tigers, 2 earned runs combined. He's keeping his walk rate down to just 4%, which helps against this Braves lineup, and at the end of the day, he's been consistent. I'm not going to act like Toronto has a huge advantage besides starting pitching, but I think they can get to Elder enough to win this one and potentially cover the run line. I'm taking the Blue Jays laying 1 run. You can find it for plus 145 odds as my first selection of the evening. Up next, we have the San Francisco Giants in Milwaukee taking on Milwaukee Brewers. Brewers are minus 212 on the money line, and the total is 7.5 runs. On the mound, we have Trevor McDonald going for SF, and we have Kyle Harrison going for Milwaukee. Call me crazy, but I have to look at another under here. I know the Brewers absolutely blew them up last night, but once Lander Roop got hit, the Giants didn't have a reason to bring in high leverage closers. McDonald doesn't have the best current numbers, but when I look deeper, he's actually pitching really well. Walks are below 5%, he's limiting hard contact, and his ground ball rate is up to 61%. He's getting a lot of in-play outs, and that can work against this Brewers lineup that isn't necessarily stacked with power. On the other side, we know Kyle Harrison's been elite, and the Giants lineup is bottom 5 over the last month, so I don't expect them to do much of anything offensively. I am heavily leaning towards Milwaukee, same thing as last night, but I see more value in the under, even coming off a 16-2 ball game. I'm taking a shot. Give me the Giants and Brewers under 7 runs. You can find it for plus 105 odds as my next selection of the evening. In our next matchup, we have the New York Mets in Seattle taking on the Seattle Mariners. Mariners minus 150 on the money line, and the total is 7.5 runs. On the mound, we have Jonah Tong going for New York. We have Logan Gilbert going for Seattle. Gilbert's been decent so far, but he is giving up a ton of hard contact, and I think that can get him into big trouble against this Mets lineup. Obviously, they fell short last night, but they're still averaging 6.5 runs over their last 5 games. They have a lot of head-to-head experience against Gilbert, and he also hasn't been his best in T-Mobile with a 5.6 ERA. Tong doesn't have much experience at all at the major league level, so I'm not necessarily expecting a shutout, but he can go 5 innings of 3-run ball, and that'll be enough to keep the Mets offense in it. Seattle does have the slightly better bullpen, but both are top 5, so there's not a huge advantage there. At this kind of price, I want to take a shot with the heating Mets lineup. I'm taking the Mets on the money line. You can find it for plus 125 odds as my last and final selection. And that's going to conclude today's video. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Rough start to June, but you already know that's no problem for me. We started May worse than this and still ended up profitable on the month. I'll keep my head down and stay ready to work. I appreciate all the support so much. I do this every day for free, So please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It's your boy, yo! And until the next one, I'ma catch y'all. Peace.